Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am the Motorcycle Rescuer and this is Motorcycle Rescuer. So I discussed some bits that I want to kind of get looked at on my Harley coming up. One is this exhaust, I believe it's called the Grenade. I think Daniel, you confirmed that yesterday. Also there is some sort of recall on the brakes. It was a really weird recall. It came proper mid-COVID lockdown, so it was just ridiculous, and I haven't heard from them since. I guess all they have to do is send out a letter and that's it. They cover themselves for when you die. But I am going to go and look into what the recall was. My guess, my very slight guess, there's something about this reservoir that bothers me. Now you see here, there's some sort of discolouring, and that makes me wonder if this window leaks some fluid, but I don't know. But there is a problem with the brake somewhere that they will fix for free. And then the other thing is, it's just too bloody loud, and you know, when I show you guys on the video, you can't kind of guess, really. You can't work out how loud it is. It doesn't show. It's only in person when I fire it up for people and they go, bloody hell. And also I have people, like I'm driving down the road and I have people covering their ears, and that bothers me, you know. I mean, I love the sound of a Harley, but I don't want it scaring people or people feeling rubbish. So I want to have a look at the baffle that's in here, and then I believe there are kind of extra stuff you can do, or baffles that will quieten it a touch. I checked online and on YouTube, they say it doesn't make much difference, but a touch. So I'm going to see if this bolt here lets me take out the whole baffle. I'm going to see what the baffle looks like. I have some extra baffle wrap in there, but I don't know if that is worth considering, if that will make a difference. And then I'll look into what I can do from there. The other thing is, this bike doesn't run a ECU or any kind of upgrade, so I don't control the ECU even, so there's no controller. I mean, it pops and bangs a lot, but I like the popping and banging, so I'm not complaining about that. And I don't know what filter I'm running in here. I don't know if it's a high flow or not. So there's just bits and pieces I need to work out. But that's not really today's plan. I'm going to try and pull out the baffle just to have a look at what we've got. But my plan for today, I think, is going to be to play with the little 100cc 2-stroke, see if we can get it up and running again, and see if we can get it kind of a bit more consistent. Because, well, you would have seen in the last video that there's now a coil issue with the Kawasaki. Left coil went out. Hopefully it's just the coil and not wiring. And I'm just kind of getting a bit done with it. So yeah, we'll look at the little moped. That'll be fun. But let me see if I can pop this baffle out and see what it at least looks like. So the vance and hines is off and the heat shield is off. Best way to get the baffle out for me was to tap it out from the other end. It just makes sense. And then you kind of got to pull it out like this. Remember, there's 2 screws in here. I didn't realise there was a second. There's one at the bottom and there's one at the side. And then you kind of put a flathead in there and you just gently tap it through. There is baffle wrapping on that, so that's interesting. And I think, looking at what Daniel sent me the other day, yesterday, there is a baffle that you screw into here. So let me pull this out and see what we're working with at the moment. If you've got gloves, throw them on, because this could be fiberglass. It could give you rashes. And I've got some packing here, some exhaust packing, which I might repack, because that could make the difference. But let's pull this out and see what we're working with. So that's the current baffle, that's the wadding. It's actually very good wadding, well, it's a bit burnt now. And then of course you just have the straight through pipe, which, being honest, this just may as well be, it would sound exactly the same, funny enough. So what can we do? So I'm going to have a look at the baffle that Daniel showed me. I better get some releasing on these screws though for now, because they're pretty rusty. I'm surprised about that. And then this part here, this kind of metal sheath, was compressed quite low, so I wonder if it should have been up a bit more. But anyway, point being, we can repack it. We can repack it with that, or we can repack it with what I've got and see if we can make a difference for now. And then I'm going to see if the baffle that Daniel sent me looked different. I feel like it did, actually. I feel like it looked different. So, but actually I do want to get some, look how rusty they are, and I'm going to need to get into there soon. And if I can't get into there, then I'll be screwed. So that's the new wadding. It's very, very thick, but this thing is huge, so you kind of have to do it like that. I think the old wadding was better stuff, but it's a bit kind of burnt through now. What I probably should have done is a mixture of both. But again, I'm going to look into a different baffle. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to see first of all if I can get that back in there. Now I was just thinking about this. Don't worry about how you tape this down. Masking tape is ideal, but all of it burns off. And we're going to smell this burning for a few days anyway. So, you know, plastic tape not ideal. That's all I've got. Masking tape is more ideal. I probably wouldn't use cable ties and stuff. They're probably just a bit thick. But maybe, I don't know, maybe there's many other ways of doing it. Basically though, you need to get it kind of squished down like this, so that we can then squish the whole thing back in. You might find that it rides up a bit. I've doubled up the top because the top bit's massive. You might find it all kind of rides up a bit, and you might have to trim up here, but you just need to neaten it up as best as you can and shove it back in. That's the next step for me. So there you go, that's back in. I had to tap it lightly with a mallet from this side, but that's fine. And of course I need to put the screws in here and here, but again, that's also fine. I used to have these things that go here. You push them in and they're meant to baffle and exhaust a little bit. I can't find one now. I think mine are too small for this pipe, but that's also something to consider. They're just generic. They don't have great reviews online, that's the truth, but apparently they do tone it down a touch. This rebaffling I think will help. I do think that is a bit past it. I think this stuff is a bit tougher actually, so I do think that this may do a little bit more. It may do a little bit more than the other stuff. That's my hope. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of exhaust wrap on here because it burns my leg, and that's obviously not a nice feeling. So a bit of exhaust wrap on here before the shield goes back on, or I could line the shield itself with some exhaust wrap. That's probably the easiest option, if that makes sense. So the shield's here. Basically this sits on here and it just takes all of the heat and it burns your leg. When you're down, when you put your leg down here to the floor, you feel the burn. Of course you do, because it's burning. So a little bit of exhaust wrap should kind of suck up some of that heat. So maybe just a strip across the bottom and chuck it back on. That might help a little bit. One of the biggest bugbears on this bike for me is the lack of spring on here. You'd be sitting at the lights, you go to put your foot on your bike and it's up like that, it hasn't sprung back down. That's quite frustrating. I'm going to check at Harley if they have springs now that I can just put on. That would be ideal as well. So there's the few things we're looking at. I'm going to see if that's a bit quieter. We'll check now together in a moment anyway. I might try and dig out the extra funny baffle that I'm telling you about, because it's kind of meant to go in here or in the other side, and it, you know, it does exactly what I was telling you about. And then we'll look at the other stuff. The other thing I want to talk to Harley about is I don't like the fob system. I can't stand it, because let's say, for example, I'm sitting on my bike and I'm eating a snack at the petrol station. Yeah, I'm sitting here, I've been sitting here for 5 minutes, the key's been in. I then go, turn it over, and it doesn't prime. And I'm there like, why is it not priming? And then basically you could be stuck there for 5 to 10 minutes. Walk away, let it beep, 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 come back, try it again. And apparently it's about recognising the fob, but it does recognise the fob, because otherwise it says no fob recognised. I want an alarm system where I press the button, I choose to alarm it or not me. So my hopes are that they can either fairly easily take away the old alarm, or that they can put on, like, program some fobs to this original where I have the buttons on and off. Simple as that. So I either want the alarm off and I'll put on some sort of generic loud alarm, or alarm, or they kind of have some sort of adaptation for the alarm that they're using. That's the other thing. And then one thing I'm going to personally do is I'm going to push all this in to here, to the kind of corner, and then I'm going to chop off the difference off the end. So I'm going to take away that much off the end, because in London, I mean, if you look at that, in London it's way, way, way too big. It's shockingly, unnecessarily too big, and I need to take some of that off. Now, people are saying don't chop the original Harley ones. These aren't worth a fortune, guys. These are basic straight bars, drag bars. You can get these anywhere. There's no worry about that, and no one's going to know I've chopped off that much. When they come to view my bike in the future, if I'm selling it, then they won't even know it's been chopped off. Let me put a touch of exhaust wrap into the shield, and then I will throw the exhaust on, and we'll see together if it sounds any better at all. I mean, I'm not expecting miracles, but a touch better might be nice. So that's all I'm talking about for now, guys. A bit of exhaust heat wrap, and that should help disperse the heat and potentially keep it off my leg. The exhaust is back on and packed, and I used a little bit of gum, which, by the way, is crap nowadays. I'm sorry, and I am going to show this, but gum's a well-known paste. So this is the Holtz one assembly paste. Now watch this. I think gum is the product name. Now watch this, right? This is paste. It's not old, it's fairly new. Look at the consistency of this crap. Look. Come on. Come on. That's not exhaust paste as I know it. Exhaust paste used to be thicker, and you could smudge it on. That just ran around the exhaust pipe and dripped off. That's crap. I don't know if that's a one-off bad formula or mix, and I know you're meant to mix the tube as much as you can. I did that. That's crap. So I'm going to throw the exhaust heat shield on, fire it up. I'm not expecting it to sound much better or worse, actually, guys. I expect it to sound pretty much the same, but I feel better having looked at it, you know, and taken it all off. Okay, so we're back together. I'm not expecting this to be a whisper by any means, but I'll let you know if there's any obvious change in notes. Let me move you back a touch so that you can see a bit more. Yeah, I'll be the judge here, because the camera just doesn't pick up in the way it should. Enter pin. Now listen, beep beep. May as well put a piece of scaffold pole on there instead. No quieter. Not louder, not quieter. But like I said, we're working on it with Daniel Barnes' help. Daniel Barnes is also a Harley guy. If anyone wants to meet him, really interesting guy, just join my Facebook page. It's called Motorcycle Rescuer and J-Corp Parts. Lots and lots of amazing people on there you can chat to. Really interesting. And Dawn. Sorry, Dawn. Little inside joke there.